We did it. We made it to the end of the year and the last digital marketing therapy episode of 2023. I cannot believe it. I am so grateful for this year and the journey we've been on together through this podcast. I'm so grateful that you listen and appreciative of all the things that you allow me to teach you, to coach you on, all the amazing guests that have come. It's been a great year. I am ending this season this year with an episode all about self-care. And I know self-care is a big buzzword right now, and this isn't about, the big things that we can do to fill our cup. It's really just about the little things that we can do during the day in the little pockets of time that we have to keep our cup from emptying completely. Ways that we can support our teams, ways that we can support ourselves, our loved ones, things we can teach our kids, but just small things that we can do throughout the day to kind of just help take care of ourselves and avoid that burnout, avoid that crazy anxiety as best we can, or at least temper it a little. And so I'm going to give you some things that I've kind of come up with that help me, and maybe they'll help you, and kind of take you on my journey as I have tried to do this practice in my life in creating self-care all day, every day, as opposed to just the big buckets. Sure, it's great. Love to do a spa day once in a while or soak in the tub for a couple hours. Not really my thing, but there are big self-care things that we can do, but we don't always have time for those, and it's still important that we're doing this on a regular basis. So that's what I'm going to share with you today. I hope that you enjoy, and let's get into the episode. You're listening to the Digital Marketing Therapy Podcast. I'm your host, Sammy Bedell-Mulhern. Each month, we dive deep into a digital marketing or fundraising strategy that you can implement in your organization. Each week, you'll hear from guest experts, nonprofits, and myself on best practices, tips, and resources to help you raise more money online and reach your organizational goals. So during COVID, I was seeing a therapist, and we were working a lot on this topic because I am somebody who likes to have a little bit of my own personal space. I like to have my quiet time, my downtime, and during COVID, it just was really hard, right? I lived in Oregon at the time, and we were really shut down. And so my husband was working from the kitchen counter. I was working from my office. We were also doing remote e-learning with our kids, which was whole nother experience, but we were on top of each other all the time. And on top of that, couldn't really go anywhere or do anything. And so it was really hard for me to just kind of figure out how to decompress and unwind. And so we worked really hard, my therapist and I, on really coming up with what are some things that I can do to kind of fill my cup. And I started making lists, and it was really actually a struggle for me to think about what are the things that I really enjoy, what really does kind of get me kind of back in my right mind space, or like just kind of feeling relaxed and calm. It doesn't always have to be related to anxiety. It's just important to keep us like just happy and keep our patience levels where they need to be and excited and loving life. So I started putting things down on paper, and they were things like meditate, do yoga, read a book, things that you kind of commonly see on some of these lists. And I was like, these aren't really things that I want to do. So it was a lot of work and a lot of conversation to really come up with, what were the things that I wanted. And she encouraged me to write them down on a piece of paper. So I'm going to encourage you to do the same, or a Post-it note and stick them to your computer, or stick them in a couple places at your house. So that what I love about this is it wasn't about these big grand gestures. It was about finding the space in your day to just take a moment. It could be 5 minutes. It could be that you have a meeting that ended 5 minutes early, and now you find yourself with 5 extra minutes. You could go to your desk and go through emails, or maybe you want to do one of these things that are on your list and just take a moment for yourself and kind of refresh, right? Maybe you schedule in 10-minute breaks during your day so that you have those elements and space that you can do things, or, you start your morning differently or end your day differently. It doesn't matter. But the point is that these things can just fit into your day, and they don't have to take away from other things that are happening. And that was huge for me because that really allowed me to not to lose that guilt piece of, well, I'm taking time for myself. It's like, well, I'm just going to take 5 minutes here. I'm going to take 10 minutes here. I'm going to drive the long way to the store so that I can have a few extra minutes to listen to the music or the podcast that I want to, right? Doesn't really matter how you do it. It's just kind of building it in as opposed to making it a big indulgence. Because that's really what self-care is about. I think it's about giving yourself the grace to feel the things that you're feeling and to support yourself in how you need to. So, for example, if you're watching this on YouTube, my hair's up, I'm in a hoodie. I had an awful night last night. My son was sick. Um, so I stayed up with him just to make sure he was okay. He was up coughing all night, so I didn't really sleep. And so I gave myself the grace and said, you know what? I usually start my day at 5:30, but I'm going to start my day at 7 today, and that's going to be the way that it is. I knew this podcast episode needed to get recorded in order to stay on my schedule, which is also really important so that I don't get behind, which leads to stress and anxiety, all of the things. And so I was like, you know what? Hair's going up, hoodie, we're good. I'm showing up still in a way that I want to, but it doesn't have to be perfect all the time, right? I can allow myself to get a little extra sleep this morning, which is self-care. I can allow myself to not feel the pressure to get ready. I say that in quotes, like to be fancy looking, right? Which I do a lot on this podcast, which is self-care, right? Having my own expectations. And it's still going to be a great episode. I'm still here for it. I'm still going to get it done. And so that all feels really good. And you know, my husband, when he left for work, said, "Don't worry about it. I got dinner tonight," because dinner is usually my responsibility. It's part of my role in the family, which I actually love. Love the cooking part. Don't always love the figuring out what to eat part, but that's a whole other story for a whole nother day. But he said, "You know what? Excuse me. I'll take care of dinner. Don't worry about it." And instead of being like, "No, no, no, it's fine. I got it." Yep. Accept the help. Great. Thank you. I appreciate that. Right. So that we can kind of step in and support each other, but also I don't have to always be the one in control of those things. That is a form of self-care. Letting somebody help you, if it's something that you're not normally good at, is a form of self-care. So when we start to think about all of the things that happen in the day and ways that we can kind of adjust, you'll start to notice there's certain things that maybe you need or that you could use support with, or that you can support other people with. And that's all self-care. And it just helps to lift that weight off your shoulders, right? And just kind of be and be the best version of yourself so that you can show up as the best version for other people. So enough rambling from me. Here are 10 things that are on my list. There's more, but here's the 10 of them that I love to just kind of pick at when I need to during the day and support myself. Now, if you work in an office, some of these might not be as easy for you as if you work from home like I do and have for a very long time. But these are here for you if you need them. So the first one is, and I don't know the scientific reasoning behind this. I don't know what it does or why it works. But I think it's called grounding. So it's really like getting in touch with nature and natural elements and going outside and standing on the grass or the dirt with your bare feet. I don't love to do this because I have a weird thing with like the ground and dirt. But there's something about how it kind of centers your body and like brings it back to center, like normal, kind of helps you relax. Something about the energy of the earth. I know it's a little woo-woo, but the energy of the earth and the surroundings, plus you get some vitamin D. Now I live in Minneapolis and it's wintertime, so not necessarily able to do that right now. But what I love to also do instead is just literally lay flat on your back on the ground. Just find a spot, a quiet spot. And I like this because it's not about meditation. It's just laying there flat, arms down, legs out on your back, and just taking a couple breaths and just taking a minute. Not thinking about all your to-do lists, just taking a minute, and then you can get up and get on your way. If you're super tired, take a nap, go for it. Not going to hurt. But grounding, so laying on the ground or standing outside barefoot in the dirt, kind of letting that nature just kind of the energy flow through you. That's idea number one. Takes only a couple minutes. Number two, and this is a big one for me, is eating lunch away from my desk. Well, let me back up. The first part is eating lunch. A lot of times I skip lunch. Yesterday I had lunch at 3 o'clock, and I make all the excuses. I had way too many meetings yesterday, and so that was part of the problem. But either putting time in your calendar for lunch if you find you're not eating lunch on a regular basis, but two, not eating and working at the same time. Um, my husband works an hourly job and is required to take a 30-minute lunch break, right? Like that's part of his requirement. I work for myself. I could work all day long, right? Why am I so busy that it's not something that I can gift myself to A, eat lunch, but B, eat lunch away from my desk? Eat lunch at the counter, or if you're in an office space or in a space where you want to eat at your desk, then turn off the work part and maybe turn on a show or something on your computer. I don't know, but eat lunch. It's good for you. It's going to keep you healthy and your brain flowing. Eat it away from work so that you actually take a break and disconnect. Number three, choose to put your phone down. Now, I don't mean just, when you're at dinner or having conversations with people, but think about like once you've shut down for the day and you're not working anymore, don't check your email anymore. Turn off those notifications. That is self-care, right? Don't read those emails. I've made the mistake too many times of, oh, I'm just going to check my email real quick before I go to bed. And then I get an email that's somewhat urgent or that's kind of frustrating. And then now you have these things in your head before you go to bed that you don't really want, right? It's stressful and then you're going to wake up feeling stressed out. So just choose to don't check your notifications. Don't check your email before you go to bed. Don't check those text messages. Choose to put your phone down or choose to not pick it up, I guess, right? Choose to not check that phone at a certain point in the day. Make that part of your routine, that self-care, put it away. During the day, if you have a few minutes, just sit there and play a game on your phone. Check out, zone out, have fun with it. Set a timer for 15 minutes and say, you know what? I'm going to give myself 15 minutes. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to play this game and I'm not even going to think about anything else. That break can be really good and really healthy. This is a common one that I see in a lot of them, but go take a walk. Again, depending on where you live in the season, it might not be the best fun thing to do, but go take a walk or go to the gym if it's close by and walk on the treadmill. Sometimes I'll even just like run up and down the stairs a couple times just to kind of stretch out my body, get things moving, and take a little break, right? I love to or walk around the house, right? Sometimes I'll just walk around. Maybe you can put your AirPods in or whatever and put on a podcast and just walk around and get away from your computer, get away from whatever it is that's happening, take a break. Move your body. We don't move our bodies enough, right? It doesn't have to be big cardio, but just kind of get going. I forget what number we're on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Number 6, watch some TV and not the news. I mean, maybe if you're somebody that the news calms you down, but the news usually stresses me out these days. Watch some trashy reality TV show. Watch something that you can laugh at. Even if it's in the middle of the day. If you're having a day, sometimes I just need to go sit on the couch for 15 minutes and watch a cooking show, right? Just separate myself from what's going on, get myself in a different headspace so I can come at the day with the right energy, with the right intention. Breathe. This is one that I think we forget to do. So sometimes, and this literally takes seconds, when I'm having a day that's stressful or I have a lot of things on my to-do list or I'm feeling overwhelmed, I'll just push my chair back, put my hands in my lap, and just take a few deep breaths, close my eyes, and just sit for a second. It's amazing how well it works. And I'm always surprised by how much better I feel once I do that. But breathing is really, really good. And at least for me, when I am in a stressful moment, I'll find that I hold my breath without realizing it. And all of a sudden I'm like, right? I don't know if anybody else does that. Maybe it's just me, but I really struggle with that. So breathing is something that I find that I'll just have notes up that say, remember to breathe on days that are real crazy. Play the piano. That's number 8. Or any instrument of your choice. So I'm very lucky that my piano sits right over here. So sometimes I'll just go over there, turn it on, and just play a couple songs, just fun songs that I can just, and then I can come back to work and I'm good to go. You could play whatever instrument you have. If you don't want to play, maybe it's music that you know that gets you excited again, that helps you relax. Maybe it's like that pumps you up, or maybe it helps you get your aggression out, whatever it might be. But music, I love. It really helps me out. I love to go play. My piano has headphones and it's electric. So it's an electric full size keyboard. So I don't have to worry about bothering anybody, which I'm lucky to do. But think about that. How can music be a part of what you've got going on to help you just kind of release some of that energy or get you into the right mindset of what you're trying to accomplish? Number 9 is call a friend or a loved one to chat. And this doesn't have to be like a vent session. This doesn't have to be a complaining session or a woe is me. It could literally just be making sure we're staying connected with the people that we care about. So call a friend, check in, see how they're doing, ask them what's up, share some exciting things that are happening in your life, especially now during the holidays. We could all use a little love, share a little love, and connect with each other. So maybe it's a calendar invite that you have every week to call somebody, right? You have that 20 minutes blocked off. Maybe you're calling them while you're on your lunch break to, kind of keep yourself entertained. Hang on, I got to take a sip of tea. But I love that connection. I love just that it can pull you out of where you're at. Um, just fill your cup, remembering there's people out there that really care about you, that love you, that are here to support you. It can go a long way. And the last one, which is one of my favorites actually, is getting takeout, whether that's for lunch or dinner. I'm very food. I love food. Um, and so on days when things are just what they are, sometimes I'll just say to my husband, like, I'm tapped out for the day. And it's not always a bad thing. Days when I have a lot of meetings, or I've had days where I have a lot of podcast recordings, if I have to talk a lot and engage with people a lot, kind of wipes me out. And so some days it's just like, you know what? Self care is I'm not going to deal with dinner like tonight. Didn't sleep much last night. I'm probably going to go to bed by 8 o'clock tonight. We're going to probably get takeout. We don't do it all the time, but it's a great just kind of thing just to have to say, okay, you know what? I'm going to give myself grace today. This is what it is. Or I want to have that meal for lunch today and I'm going to order it and have that takeout. So get takeout. That's my number 10. So I'm going to run through them all again really quick. But these are the 10 things that I have on my 10 of the things that I have on my list. Laying on the ground or grounding outside, eating lunch away from your desk, choosing to put my phone down and not check email right before I go to bed, playing a game on my phone, taking a walk, watching some TV, breathing, playing the piano or instrument of your choice, calling a friend or loved one to connect, and getting takeout, which means I'm hungry right now. I need to go eat my breakfast. Okay, so those are 10 ideas for self care. Really, what I want to do is inspire you to find pockets in your day that you can prioritize yourself so that you can continue to do the incredible work that you do and support the incredible community that you do. We can't do it if we're burnt out and frustrated, and we deserve to have joy in our days and joy in the work we do and joy in our lives. So I appreciate you so very much. Thank you for listening to this episode. I'll have all of these listed at thefirstclick.net/237. We have some incredible things coming for you in 2024. I am so excited. So make sure you stay tuned and that you are subscribed wherever you listen or watching on YouTube so you don't miss a single episode. I thank you so much for being here. Subscribe if you love this podcast. Leave a review if you love this podcast. And I can't wait to see you in the new year. See you in the next one.